Today we got Soukyugurentai. I'm just gonna call it Terra Diver for this review, okay? Before I get into the game at all, there's two versions of this game, okay? Go away. Okay, there's two versions of this game. The first version is the original version, okay? But when you try to play this on the PAL or the North American versions of the Saturn with your Game Shark or your Action Replay, the texting has some glitching problems. It's not really enough to really affect the gameplay or anything like that. I mean, it does just for a little bit, but not a lot, and it's really not that bad. And then you got the re-release of the game, which is this one. And this one actually fixed the problems. So, I mean, they're both the same.
1, 2, 3,
no,
4.
go away. And
all right, beautiful.
it won't stop.
Excellent.
Warrior, you're not gonna do this review with me, okay? Just leave me alone. Okay, so let's continue. Okay, you can find this game on eBay for 60 bucks. I don't see it going any lower down. I only see it going up, obviously. Buy the re-release version. Or you can buy the original version. It's really not that bad. I mean, I'm gonna be using both versions for this review, okay? Because the original version has English text, which is weird, because then the re-release version has Japanese text, which I don't understand, but whatever. And it includes a demo of Battle Gorega, which is pretty cool. Today, I have a very special guest playing with me. No, it's not you. Seriously, go away. Okay, sorry. He won't stop. He really wants to do this review with me. I hope to God that opening just got you really fucking hyped for this game. It's 60 bucks. Just buy it after this video. Soukyugurentai was originally released as an arcade game for the Sega Saturn video platform in September of 1996. Yeah, that's badass. Then a Sega Saturn version was released on February of 1997. 5 whole fucking months after the arcade release. Yeah, that's pretty amazing. Well, that's really doing because the arcade hardware was directly based on the Sega Saturn architecture. This is as close to perfect as it gets, boys. A PlayStation version was also released on December of 1997. But I'm not really here to talk about that one, so today we're just going to focus on the Sega Saturn versions. Soukyugurentai is a vertical scrolling shooter. The game isn't your usual 3:4 aspect ratio vertical shooter. No, we went 4:3 ratio on your horizontal ass. Soukyugurentai really does take advantage of the extra screen size, with side attacks and warning attacks from the top or the bottom. The screen gets really hectic. It's crazy, I love it. The game features highly effective 3D polygons and 2D sprites, making the ships and environments just fucking beautiful. It truly is a visual delight. Sprite and stage scaling are done amazingly, running at a smooth and near consistent frame rate. The controls are spot on, giving you the edge here. Having near perfect control of your ship really comes in handy, because damn, this game gets crazy. Soukyugurentai's core gameplay is a refinement of a concept introduced in Layer section. That being, your ship can lock on target enemies on a 3D plane, whether it be above, underneath, or on the same plane as you. That bitch is going down. And oh man, is the music some of the best I've heard in a while, keeping you pumped throughout your adventures as you blast your way from skies above to asteroid fields, always keeping you at the edge of your seat and ready for action. The Sega Saturn has an amazing library of 2D shooters: Battle Gorega, Radiant Silvergun, Batsugan, and today I'd like to add Soukyugurentai to the top tiers. With amazing and beautiful gameplay and presentation, outstanding music, spot-on controls, everything is here for an amazing legend. Alright, enough talking. Let's actually dig into the game itself. So as you can see, we can't read shit. So I did my best here to try to help you out. So after pushing start, if you push start again, this begins the game. The best way I could remember this is by this slant here, like a hook or a J. So remember that. The J is slant for start game. So now when you hit the down button, it takes you to this option. This is practice mode, where you can choose your pilot, the stage, which is really neat. For when you're struggling with a certain stage, study that bitch and A+ that bitch. The top one here, that's starting the practice. The one underneath it is pilot info, which I can't fucking read. Third one down is round select, fourth one down is round high score, and the bottom one is the back button pretty much. So let's go back to the main page. Remember the slant? That's start game. The next one, practice. And the third option, which is option. So let's dig into that. You can adjust difficulty here, 1 through 8, 1 being the easiest, 8 being the hardest. Underneath that is button layout. Next up is stereo or mono. Now comes high score, music and sound effects, and then the music and sound effects volume levels, which is pretty cool that you can adjust those type of things. Okay, let's go back to the main page. Start game, practice, options. Now here's where the original and the re-release differ a bit more. The re-release has a playable demo of the first stage of Battle Gorega, which, if you ask me, is fucking badass. The last thing to discuss on the main menu is this, the extra options. But I've decided not to include that in this video, only because you can adjust a lot of things in the extra options, okay? A lot. And I really want something of interest for the person thinking of picking this game up and not knowing everything about the game. So this is the one thing you can look forward to, is this extra options, okay? Alright, ladies and gentlemen, let's start the game. Well, you got the choice of 3 different pilots here, and holy shit, 20 seconds, ladies and gentlemen, 20 seconds to choose. You know what time it is. Keep on rolling, baby. So as I was saying, you got the choice of 3 different pilots, each with their different strengths and weaknesses. Let's dissect each one, shall we? First up is Kaoru. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, but whatever, it doesn't matter. I'll just go by Swordfish, because that's the name of the ship she's piloting. After choosing your pilot, you're presented with the most badass launch sequence I've ever seen. It is so good, it gets me so hyped. That was fucking badass, wasn't it? The Swordfish is considered the balanced type. Not the strongest, but not the weakest, not the slowest, but not the fastest. The Swordfish is only capable of locking on to 6 enemies at a time. Their standard fire is straight and diagonal angle. Okay, now let me explain the button layouts of the ships. Your standard shot is located on the A button and the R trigger. But by holding down the A button, this creates your ship's NALS, N-A-L-S, which stands for Non-Blind Spot All-Range Laser System. Yeah, I think they're missing a few letters there, I think, right? Well, for this video, we'll call them webbings, okay? Each ship has 2 different types of webbings. One is usually stronger than the other. The Swordfish has Ido. Is it I or E? But whatever, it doesn't really matter. It's located up here. Ido is a semicircle webbing, which shoots laser fire, which is the second strongest of the web firing. Then, by pressing C, this changes the webbing type to pinpoint. A cone web that shoots incendiary fire, which is the strongest shot of the web. I really do enjoy the trade-off from Ido to pinpoint. Ido covers more range, such as the sides. but when you switch to pinpoint, this trades it for more power, but leaves the sides more open for attack. So what will it be? Range or firepower? By pressing the beat button, this shoots out your bomb. I love that explosion, it's like a little mini sun. It's beautiful. This also renders your ship temporarily invincible. So shoot all you want, bitches, I ain't dying. The bomb can also be shot when webbing is locked on targets or is not locked on targets, but webbing is active. Let me explain. When webbing is locked on and you fire your bomb, a cluster of small blasts charge to locked on targets. That's so fucking badass. I fucking love that shit. When webbing is active but no targets locked, the bomb becomes a short-range circle sweep, sort of like in a defensive way, nullifying bullets and renders your ship invincible. Okay, next pilot. The Macorol? Did I say that right? Macorol? Anyways, I'm just gonna go by card. It's just easier for me to say. Since we have already discussed the button layouts, I'll just talk about the webbing and standard firing for the next two pilots. His standard shot is the widest out of the bunch, and also includes homing missiles. Card is capable of locking on to 7 targets at a time. His first webbing is the all range, which is a full circle webbing that fires centralized electric fire. This is the weakest of the web firing. All range to me is the best defensively. Nothing escapes your sights. Fire that up with your standard shot and homing missiles. Yeah, it's all range mode, baby. His secondary web is Bow Ryu, which is a semicircle web that shoots laser fire. This to me means in tough spots, Card can easily shift from defensive to a little bit more of a power ship, but in doing so, gives up his all-range defense, which is a cool trade-off, power for defense. I love it. And finally, we come to our last pilot, Rudy, who pilots the Scallop. Her standard fire is heavy fire, which is pretty strong, along with directional guns. Her first webbing is Muso, which is a cone web that shoots laser fire. Rudy is capable of locking on to 8 targets at a time. Her second webbing is called Random. Really? Just random? Well, it's not really random though. This webbing shoots incendiary fire. The webbing is a little bit tricky, but not random. It works like this. When pressing down, the webbing goes up. When pressing up, the webbing goes down. So it just goes the opposite way you're going. So left would make it go right, right would make it go left. This webbing though is a topic of discussion and interest. As in, she's capable of locking on to 8 targets. She fires the strongest incendiary fire. Random is also capable of covering the entire ship, sort of like all range. So 8 targets, the strongest web firing, 360-degree webbing. All I'm getting at is it's the best ship in my opinion, if piloted correctly, that is. Now for the storyline. It's actually pretty interesting. So after exhausting resources on Earth, trade companies team up with NASA and start initiating space programs dedicated to finding resources outside of the planet Earth. So establishments are created on large asteroids and Mars. The largest company in all of this is Jinsai. So after a few years, separate companies started initiating attacks that would dominate other companies' resources. The strongest of these attacks started on the Mars colonies, established by the second largest company, so-called 8 Luck Interstellar Development Inc. Yeah, what the fuck? 8 Luck planned on claiming Mars for its own, so as to monopolize on the outsourcing of minerals as well as terraformed areas. So Jinsai was like, fuck no. We're gonna create this badass laser system and take you down. Anyways, who the fuck cares? All you need to know is don't get hit. Something really cool is by adjusting your Saturn's internal clock, actually changes the date in the game. Okay, for example, here it's 1994, the 1st of January. So here in the game, it's January 1st, 2054. Now let's adjust the clock. So we're gonna make it February 1st, 1995. So now it's February 1st, 2055. That's pretty fucking cool, right? It's just little things like that that really make you appreciate the developers. That's fucking amazing. Okay, I left a lot out that I could still go over, but I'm gonna end this here. This is the longest video I've ever done. No words could describe the awesomeness that this game presents. This game is flawless. It is perfect. It is superb. So with a caution of warning, this game will go up. I promise you. It is 60. Pick it up now before it goes up to 80 within a year. Then after that, it's gonna go up to 100. I promise you. I've seen this too many times. Pick this fucking game up, okay? I promise you, you will not get disappointed.